Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace, the powerful website making tool. Go to squarespace.com/Austin Eruption to save 10% and start easily making websites today. Stay tuned because I've got an update on our website. On with the show. Good licensed video games. Now that's a combination of words rarely spoken. While yes, they exist, sometimes it feels like you might be able to count the good ones on two hands and no more. KOTOR, Arkham City, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction are a few games that come to mind. But what if we narrow down the category a bit? Japanese anime has been a genre of media that has been slowly blowing up more and more on the Western shores, so much so that we have Obama thanking the Japanese Prime Minister for it.
To say thank you for all the things we love from Japan, like karate, manga, and anime. And of course,
Garuga Mash!
Now, as many of those who frequent this channel know, we've talked a lot about the bad here. Bad licensed games are a dime a dozen, but y'all have always requested I talk about the gems, so hey, why not? Let's do it. Just remember, I only have so much time here. If I don't cover something you think is rad, let me know in the comments and I'll cover it next time. And there will be a next time. So, konnichiwa, sore wa Austin desu. And today we're gonna get into the good shit. Let's start off this lovely pile of desserts with a fun game I played a couple years back, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Alright, listen up y'all. Consider this a part 2 because we're gonna be talking about aiding. If you watched my last video, Super Smash Clones Melee, you'll know that aiding was responsible for Battle Stadium DON. It wasn't very good. In fact, aiding made a lot of subpar licensed games and ones people would forget about, but they would also make easily the best fighting game on the Wii, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars. Back in the 2000s Marvel vs. Capcom 2 dry spell, the mainstream popularity of fighting games, in particular Capcom's, were a little on the down low. We had a lot of ports and like Capcom Fighting Evolution and Capcom vs. SNK 2, but that was about it. Nothing seemed to hit as hard as the previous titles. I don't really want to talk about EX3, but then the savior came.
I can feel it coming over me, I feel it all around me. I've been waiting for this moment all my life.
Now you gotta remember it too. Street Fighter 4 was a beast that still to this day has a presence at FGC events. I played a lot of Third Strike and 4 at this LAN center I used to frequent, the D-pad in New Braunfels, Tejas, and I was shown the ropes. Though I quickly forgot the ropes a few years later. The want for a new crossover fighting game was there, and it was already out in Japan. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, one of the strangest and most unlikely candidates for a crossover, hit the Wii, and it was real good. Simple, but real good. It also had some of the sickest cover and key art pieces I've ever seen even to this day. For those of you wondering, Tatsunoko is a real old Japanese anime company. I know a lot of you Boka Aka kiddies are gonna be like, huh, why isn't it widescreen? And that's okay, I get it. But let me tell you, prior to Green Naruto, Pink Naruto, or even Naruto, hell, back before janky looking Gundam Man, we had things like Kasan, Yatterman, Gatchaman. If there's one group of characters you might recognize from Tatsunoko, it would be the Gatchaman crew. Although you might know them as the G-Force, the one where there are a bunch of goofy looking superheroes in bird outfits. Say as you will, but I loved this as a kid. So, Tatsu vs. Capcom had a sizable selection of their characters, old and new. Also, Snoop Dogg's lighter. Did he drop this? Should we tell him? Capcom, on the other hand. Of course, we have Street Fighter reps, but we also have Batsu from Rival Schools, Mega Man Volnut from Legends, Zero, Beautiful Joe, Morrigan from Darkstalkers, Frank West, Onimusha Man, a robot from Lost Planet, and this girl. I don't know who it is, but there she is. Tatsu had such a cool collection of characters that it was pretty hard to say no to. I mean, I've always had a love for fighters, even if I wasn't very good at them. When I first started playing Tatsunoko, I was pretty assy at it, but it did teach me a lot about the fundamentals, and more importantly, that fighting games are fun. It's a 2-on-2 fighter where you fight. Do literally billions of damage and mess your friends up. I thought it was funny how aiding decided to kick things up to the insanity levels for this one. Considering Tatsu uses mostly quarter circle inputs for most of its actions, with character movesets limited like an MVC game, this is an easy one for anyone to pick up. Yeah, maybe it's not the most balanced thing in the world, but like the Gundam Battle Assault games, it's just stupid fun. If you had a Wii, this was the fighting game you would get. This or Castlevania Judgment, Soul Calibur Legend. Yeah, I'll stick with Tatsu. Next up is a game that if you played, you definitely did a little bit of digging. That's because we're going to be talking about the fan-translated Sailor Moon: Another Story. Sailor Moon, or as it's known in Japan as Bishoujo Senshi Seiramon, is quite a phenomenon. While it's nowhere near the first, or even near the first wave of magical girl anime, Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon is responsible for thrusting a ton of life into the genre in the 90s. And hey, I watched it, no shame. I distinctly remember the original wild Deke dub of Sailor Moon airing right after that Steve Urkel Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon when I was a kid.
Yes, Tuxedo Mask, I don't believe it.
Back then, I was trying to be all machismo in front of my sister and mom and be like, nah, this is for girls. But no, I totally dug it. I especially dug Sailor Jupiter. I've always had a bit of a closet fascination with the series, and it wasn't until later in my life that I was properly introduced to the dark and interesting themes Naoko Takeuchi's beloved manga had. I mean, shit, it was dark enough to the point where entire seasons, including the ending, were never dubbed and brought to the States until very recently. Cause you know, can't have boys turning into girls here. The 90s were lame. However, ages ago, when I had my first computer neatly tucked away in my small baby room, I discovered the wonderful art of emulation. The PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 were already out and in our media room, so the PC was used for trying out old NES and SNES games. Don't call the cops, okay? I was only using it to play games we literally never got. This is how I discovered and got to experience amazing gems like Final Fantasy V, Seiken Densetsu 3, Bahamut Lagoon, Clock Tower. It's only thanks to these amazing fan translators back in the day that we got to experience these games. Hell, a lot of them still aren't available in any kind of Western market. Mother 3. So, thanks to the endless amounts of translation groups back in the 90s, y'all are the real MVP. You see where this is going. Buried deep in the Super Famicom library was a little JRPG called Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon: Another Story. A group named Bishoujo Senshi Translations translated this and released it back in '99, and woof, this game did not blow my mind back in the day. Also, their old website is fantastic. I had one myself called Austin and Taylor's Pokemon Palace back in the day. Let's just say it played music. Another Story is not only a good licensed game, but a good-ass JRPG for what it's worth. Let's get into it. Taking place after Sailor Moon S in the distant future, Another Story serves as a kind of non-canon, but maybe canon, maybe just filler side story to the main plot. Who knows, there's a lot of freaking time travel. Deep in the future, in Neo Tokyo, the opposite Senshi are pissed at Neo's serenity. What's with Japan using Neo for everything in the future? This is around the same time as G Gundam with its Neo Japan and Neo America. Must have been a phase. Anyway, so basically the opposite scouts decide to travel into the past. Our scouts, present, resurrect a bunch of old villains in an attempt to prevent Serenity from ever becoming the queen. The evil scouts are led by a new character named Apsu. Also, if it's not obvious, the opposite scouts are basically evil versions of the good girls, both in planet and appearance. Though I gotta say, I dig their look. So they come, they mess things up, like a lot. What happened to Baby? They kick Tuxedo Mask's ass, thank God. Sailor Jupiter takes a solo pilgrimage to Canada. You know how these things work. I won't get too much into the story because, well, I mean, that's the reason you would play this one, but I will say it fits in well with the Sailor Moon canon. It's also coupled by a really good JRPG. By all means, it's your standard JRPG for the time. It's not Final Fantasy VI, but nothing is. But for someone who's a Sailor Moon fan, it's got more than enough to carry its weight. Plus, we also get some neat flashy animations for attacks. The music is cute and appropriate, the interactions are similar to the 90s anime. The girls are talking about dating boys, and Mamoru's fucking dead. It's everything a Sailor Moon fan wants, I think. If you've got someone in your life who is all about those pretty soldiers, Another Story might be one heck of a treat for them. Just make sure they've seen the Japanese version of the show, or they're gonna be real confused.
Fantastic! You're the best cousins in the world!
Oh no!
The next franchise we're covering is one that has been the subject of many a ridicule on this channel. For some reason, all of the Dragon Ball franchises and series have had really terrible games. However, the next one is a bundle of joy to play, and I'm not talking about this. That's way too easy. Dragon Ball is a series that needs no introduction. It was kind of the anime that us late adopting Western audiences knew about. It, alongside Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Naruto, and to a certain extent, Cowboy Bebop would gain a lot of mainstream attention here. I mean, in my playground, Tenchi Muyo was the shit, but we're not here to talk about Tenchi. That strategy RPG's pretty sick though. But this isn't about Super, GT, or even Z. We're going all the way back to Dragon Ball, baby. The original pole extending, water sports flaunting, private slapping Dragon Ball. I was super into this as a kid. Not the P stuff, but the show. Back in the day, we had all kinds of Dragon Ball VHS around my house. Hopefully, I'm not the only one who remembers its masterpiece of an opening.
Dragon Ball, gotta find that Dragon Ball. He's gonna show you. He's gonna help you find the way.
A majority of video games based on Dragon Ball are Japanese exclusive, or best case scenario, a skeezy palette swap that changed Dragon Ball to Dragon Power. But in November of 2004 in Japan, and 2006 here in the States, an adorable little gem slid out onto the Game Boy Advance that quickly became one of my most played portable games. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. It turns out if you take Dragon Ball out of a broken-ass fighting game, far away from weird RPGs, and slap it in a side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer, you get one heck of a game. Spanning from humble beginnings of Bulma attempting to seduce Goku for his ball, all the way to the triumph over King Piccolo, Advanced Adventure is an extremely jam-packed game. Maybe a bit short, but plenty fun and replayable all the same. One of the most impressive things to me is the sheer quality of everything, especially for a Game Boy Advance title. Dimps was in charge here, responsible for a few games you might have played, like the quality Sonic Advance titles, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, the 3DS version of Sonic Generations, and oh yeah. They've got a pretty track record, minus these, but that's what happens. Sometimes as a video game developer, you just accidentally make Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. Oh well. But back to Dragon Ball. Adventure has a well-designed upgrade system that basically gives Goku more advanced abilities from items and stages. Just like in the show or any martial arts story, our main character gets more powerful as we go. At first you can't do a Kamehameha at all, but eventually you're shooting out ki blasts, shaking the entire screen, and tossing dudes around like they're nothing. Basically, Advanced Adventure feels real good. It's not just a platformer though. Considering a lot of Dragon Ball is tournament arcs, certain encounters in the game embrace a slightly modified version of the engine and turn it into a one-on-one fighter, and it works pretty well. It's neat to think of a little game like this having the charm of a SNES platformer on one side and the other using launchers, throwing dudes up into the air and beating the crap out of them, all while looking smoothly animated with large, bright and cute sprites. Look, it's just real good, okay? Also, the soundtrack has to be easily one of the Game Boy Advance's strongest. I use the music from this game in a lot of videos because it's just so good. I couldn't find the composer in my research though, so if any of y'all can do that, please let me know. While Advanced Adventure might be a little short, if you've got a few hours to spare, it's a pretty solid way to spend them. Also, you can unlock little shit-eater Krillin as a playable character, so that's pretty alright. Have you ever opened like a thing of honey, spread a little bit on a sandwich, and put it back on the shelf where it sat for 10 whole years, only for you to realize, hey, I have some honey. You go into the pantry, you open it up, you taste it, and it tastes exactly the same as the day you first tried it. I mean, you did have to clean off the little dust layer known as Boruto, but that Naruto still tastes exactly the same. And then you died. For real though, only recently, like this month recently, have I started getting back into Naruto. I'll just blame it on talking about it very briefly last week. God damn it. Here I am, staying up late, reading wikis, and trying to find a method to watch it in the most efficient manner, without the filler. But that's besides the point. Let's rewind to the year 2007. I had just gotten totally banned from playing World of Warcraft for a playing it a bit too much, so I needed to go back to real video games. So after the PS3's flaccid launch in its first few years, I got myself an Xbox 360. As a dude who was enjoying the American print of Shonen Jump on a weekly basis, I stumbled upon a little game called Naruto Rise of a Ninja. That's right, Naruto was my first Xbox 360 game, son. Halo 3 was for chumps! I played the crap out of this game. Open world still had a bit of novelty to it around this time, at least to me. And being able to run around the Hidden Leaf Village, talk to random people, and dick about was an awesome time. Look, Naruto and Shippuden had a lot of problems with pacing and that generic shonen power crawl nonsense, but when it was still at its low starting levels, Naruto felt exciting. So of course, Rise of a Ninja was up my alley. It's also weird as hell because this game is not Japanese made. Rise of a Ninja was developed by the people at Ubisoft Montreal. Now, typically when a foreign studio takes an IP or anime and tries to make something out of it, it has very mixed results. See Legacy of Goku 1. Rise of a Ninja is actually really faithful to the source material, and it looks great for an early 360 game. Trying to make people like you as Naruto feels fun and goofy, if a little repetitive. They sure as hell did their best, and it shows. We play a dumb child loser pervert who works his way up in the eyes of the people around him. We learn cool tricks, can show our sexy jutsu, and sometimes unsexy jutsu. It's pretty close, minus the fact that he doesn't Naruto run. You serious right now? However, I had a dear friend of mine stop me in the middle of playing this and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you playing Ultimate Ninja Storm? And I was like, what's Ultimate Ninja Storm? I don't even have that. And he was like, well then go out and buy Ultimate Ninja Storm. So I did. Let's talk about Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. I was only familiar with the original series, but damn, if Ninja Storm 4 doesn't make me want to start at the beginning. Like, it's an actual problem I might be facing. Someone please stop me? But oh yeah, the Ultimate Ninja Storm games have been going for a while now, and each one has a different thing it presents. Story-wise, it's like playing an abridged version of the anime and manga, but with the key parts left intact. The presentation of it, though, is absolutely stunning. CyberConnect 2, who is responsible for the excellent JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Dot Hack games, shows their stuff in full force here. If you want fan service, you got it. No, not the gross kind. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit of that.
Sexy reverse hair jutsu!
Simply put, the Ninja Store titles are fighting games that very highly value style over substance. They're the type of games where you can turn off your brain and let loose, but also there are a few neat mechanics for the more advanced players who want to take it on seriously. It's a little strange to have the camera favor one player like one of those old Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games, even when you play online, but it's something you get used to. Though I will say it would be nice for each player to have their own camera. But in my mind, we're here for the single player story mode. And god damn it, is it a fun ass time. The only qualm I really have is the fact that despite having some amazing cutscenes, a lot of the storytelling is done through stills from the anime. It's weird to me that they couldn't just like use the anime footage itself as opposed to digitally imposing some occasional movement and fog over pictures. By no means is it a deal breaker, but it feels like an odd dissonance compared to the rest of the game, cause you'll go from this.
I would say we're both plenty warmed up, wouldn't you? Indeed!
To this.
That means if I stand shoulder to shoulder with Kakashi, I'll get even stronger.
There's also an adventure mode in addition to the story mode, the dreaded filler that plagues Naruto as a whole. Ninja Storm 4's adventure mode takes place after the canonical story, as well as a separate campaign for the Boruto movie, which, well, I'm just gonna say I'm not that into Boruto yet. Coming from Rise of a Ninja, this mode is just okay. The best and worst thing Ultimate Ninja Storm did was urge me to wipe my knuckles and be interested in an anime that is over 700 episodes. How dare you, Bandai Namco? On the other hand, I found this edit that cuts the entire thing to like 70, so maybe I'll give that a shot. By no means do I think Rise of a Ninja is bad now. the adventure mode in Ultimate Ninja Storm is kinda weak by comparison. Moving around the world just doesn't feel as exciting, like it's a low-tier JRPG with a fighting game squeezed in. Granted, Rise of a Ninja has a similar thing going on, but running around just feels better. There's more to do in the village, things to collect, and, well, I guess it's like an open-world Ubisoft game. No surprises there. Both of these games are great, but only one of them becomes Sonic Adventure midway through, and that's Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Both of these games are pretty high quality, but I think Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 edges it out just a little bit. However, there is another game I do want to talk about at another time. I've heard and read a lot of good things about the Broken Bond here, which is supposed to take place after Rise of a Ninja and is also made by Ubisoft Montreal, but I'm gonna wait till I'm a little bit further in the series because I definitely want to play that one. Naruto fans. Anyways, I've been Austin. Join me next time when I'm probably donning a Hidden Leaf Ninja headband. But for now, let me talk a little bit about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Big thanks to them for once again sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that's as simple as signing up. You don't gotta worry about updating software or making plugins fit into your stuff. It's all there and ready to go. With 24/7 support, no matter who you are, be it a musician, an artist, or an online creator, Squarespace will help you look nice and professional. Using you guys as my, advisors, we've put together a website. So far, we've got a section that lists games that are notably better than God Hand, as well as a section that helps you forget everything. It's just a picture of mine, but that'll help a little bit. Let me know in the comments what else we should add, because the world is our oyster. So if you're ready to use one of the most powerful website creation tools out there, check out squarespace.com/Austin Eruption, or click the link in the description to sign up. Hop on over there and create anything you'd like. That's squarespace.com/Austin Eruption, and get started today. Thanks for watching. Big shout outs to my Patreon supporters Alfredo Ariano, Bella Guerrera, Christopher Olivia, Flaming Fighter, Jay Roos, Jackets, Jacoby Fitzpatrick, Chase Scott, Calvin Wong, Legend Gary, Neo Skunk, Plasma Phoenix, Ronnievile, and Superfly1787. Thank you guys very much for your generous donations. If you liked the video, hey, check it out. Also, check out the new shirts. Maybe you'll like them. I like them. Make sure to subscribe and check out other videos, and I'll catch you next time. Good night.